Hey guys, it's YOU WACK. So today, the mid-season patch for Season 12 just came out, and with it, of course, came the World of Warcraft collaboration, new competitive drives, but what we're here for are the new hero changes that always come with a mid-season update. Now, if you're wondering what that sound is, because it sure as heck doesn't sound like the inside of my bedroom, it's because I'm actually in Japan right now when the mid-season patch goes out, so I figured this would be a cool opportunity to, well, show off Japan while also giving some updates for Overwatch 2. So that's what we're gonna do. I found this quaint little garden away from all the loudness. Figured this would be a beautiful place to read some patch notes and a cry if our favorite hero got nerfed. All right, so the first changes are gonna be for general changes, but then we're gonna be looking at the tank role passive. Now, for the general changes, armor flat rate damage reduction got decreased. This is big, from 10 to 7 per impact. So if you're a tank that has armor, if you're Bastion that has armor, Brigitte that has armor, you're gonna be dying a whole lot quicker. All right, so I'm back in my hotel room to further talk about some of these changes, specifically the armor changes. That's gonna heavily impact tanks, because, well, so many of the tank players want them to be a lot more beefier than when they got that. A good majority of DPS and support players want them to die a lot quicker. And I feel like over time they found a good happy medium, but now they're just a lot more squishy. Now they're just gonna have to not press W as much. And I don't think tank players are gonna like this, especially D.Va players. Reinhardt was in a great spot, but now he's gonna suffer because he's someone that likes to push in and be aggressive. Also, heroes like Malga and Orisa, who don't really have any protection, is just gonna get shredded by long range heroes. So the armor nerf, while I do think that a lot of people will be happy about that, I don't think players won't, because, well, they were in a good spot for like a couple of months. But now, beginning with the actual hero changes, or like the tank changes specifically, the role passive got heavily nerfed because the knockback resistance got reduced from 40% to 25%. They're slowly bringing back you Lucio mains and your boops. Yeah, I know, right? But now, beginning with the actual individual hero changes, starting off with D.Va, who absolutely needed to get nerfed. Her mecha armor health got reduced from 375 to 325, while her base health got reduced from 200 to 25. Now, this is very important to remember, because not only did the armor, just general armor changes get nerfed, but now you're missing out on 25 total armor hit points. Even though 25 armor did get distributed to the regular health pool, you're gonna be feeding a lot more easier with D.Va. All right, so Orisa is getting a slight buff to her fortified movement speed penalty, where they're going to be decreasing the movement penalty they get from 20% to 10%. Not too bad. I think people are still fearful of the old Orisa. Roadhog is getting a surprising buff to his take a breather ability, because now the resource regenerative rate is going to be increasing from 8 to 10 per second, which means you regenerate your healing ability a little bit quicker. Now, Roadhog, I didn't think he was in too desperate need of a buff, but then it's Roadhog. He's either really bad or really good. Sigma is a hero that we never hear in patch notes ever, but with his hyperspheres, he's going to be getting a ton of changes. One, the impact damage is going to decrease from 25 to 15. However, the explosion damage is getting increased from 30 to 40. So basically just redistributing his damage to make it a little bit easier, a lot easier to hit, because you don't have to be directly on him. And to make matters even better, you no longer damage yourself from your orbs as Sigma. So that's a nice little plus. All right, so talking about some of these tank changes, they were just, besides the D.Va change, were kind of random. Who thought Sigma needed a rework? I don't think anybody. When it came to Orisa, who thought that she needed a buff? I don't think a single person was calling for that. Like, literally, this is what I have a problem with when it comes to so many changes, is that they just seem like they're throwing spaghetti at the wall and hoping something sticks. With the D.Va change, I think that'll work. I think that'll knock her off her pedestal, and that's great. But why Roadhog? Like, why is he getting a buff? All right, so we're on to DPS here. Starting off with Bastion, a hero you surprisingly don't hear a lot about in patch notes. The spread to his assault form got reduced from a 2.2 to 2 degrees, meaning that's a little bit tighter of a shot, and his artillery ultimate cost got reduced by 12%. So Bastion means, I guess you're gonna be causing a lot more chaos on the battlefield. Chilling right next to the turtles. Hey, little guy. Oh, don't bite me. All right, so our favorite cowboy Cassidy is up next. This is a big change. It might not sound like it in my voice, but his flashbang hinder is getting reduced from 1.2 seconds to 0.9 seconds, but the explosion damage is going to be increasing from 45 to 75 total damage. And on top of that, the Deadeye ultimate cost got reduced by 10%. So Cassidy means, just like these turtles, you're back, baby. So we're in a traditional Japanese garden. It only makes sense to read some Hanzo patch notes, and well, he got buffed because now his Storm Bow, all three of these changes are going to be his Storm Bow. The normal arrows no longer are affected by the global projectile size increase, and the maximum damage per arrow got increased from 120 to 125, and the time to fully charge got increased from 0.72 to 0.87. So not all sunshine and rainbows for our favorite archer, man. Venture is getting their first taste of reality of being an Overwatch hero, because now they're going to be getting their passive nerf, getting their shield health gain whenever they use an ability, getting it reduced from 40 to 30. And honestly, I think that needed to happen. We gotta talk a little bit more about these DPS changes, specifically that Cassidy change. Now, I was a little bit quiet in that garden when talking about it, but the fact that they're increasing the damage that this grenade does by 30 points is absolutely insane. Yeah, the effects of that grenade is getting reduced by 0.3 seconds, but like, come on now, whenever a Tracer's flanking, you're gonna be able to kill her now, you know, and you're gonna be doing that with a lot of other heroes that are trying to flank. Like, well, I guess Venture also now, because, well, you're also gonna have to think that their passive is getting nerfed to where they're not gonna be so beefy whenever they get shielded and such. So, I don't know, like, this is gonna be interesting for Cassidy. I think he's gonna be a lot more relevant, a lot more meta, and someone like Venture is gonna be a lot less irritating because they won't be so like beefed up on shield to where they can actually die finally. And the Hanzo change, the fact that they just buffed it up by 5 points, it hurts my soul, because now if you get a headshot on a lot of 250 HP heroes, they're dead. Why? I loved when Hanzo was useless. Please make him more useless, Blizzard, please. Alright, so we made it to the support characters, and the first support character is getting a buff that I don't think anyone thinks that they need, but Moira and her coalescence damage is getting increased from 70 damage per second to 85 damage. So an extra 15 damage for all you DPS Moiras to be able to just go crazy with. And Lifeweaver is getting in the DPS action alongside Moira because they're increasing his ammo from 80 to 100. Why? I mean, it's not a bad thing. It's just like, why did they choose that specific area to buff Lifeweaver for? I don't know. And the final hero we're going to be looking at is fitting because we're in a Zen-like garden. Zenyatta is getting a small buff to his destruction orb. The damage got increased from 48 to 50. Like I said, pretty small, only 2 extra hit points. But the Discord orb, the cooldown for when you can reapply it to a target that you just applied the Discord orb, got decreased from 7 seconds to 6 seconds. So if you're someone like me that loves to change targets because of the old Zenyatta, well, we're slowly getting back to that. Very slowly. Now, I know I've been complaining a lot about these changes, but when it comes to support buffs, I got no words for it. Are they the most massive changes? No, but are they changes that were needed? I wouldn't say so. Who thought that Moira needed more damage for ultimate? Who thought Lifeweaver needed more ammo? Who thought Zenyatta? Well, I actually kind of like the Zenyatta change because it's not that much of a buff, but still a great buff. It just seems like these changes were so random, but hey, they focused on D.Va, and that's what we needed. And we also got some other changes alongside her nerf as well. But I don't know, we're gonna have to see how these changes go, especially when it comes to Cassidy, even Hanzo, Venture, are they gonna be useless? Let's see if Roadhog's gonna be relevant. Let's see, D.Va is still gonna be an S-tier hero. Now that concludes one of the most beautiful patch notes readings that I definitely have ever done, but probably here on YouTube. But if you want to see more Overwatch 2 videos while I'm in Japan, I got you guys covered because I got a whole bunch of videos scheduled out. But until the next time, I love you guys. Thank you guys for watching. More Overwatch 2 videos to come, and bye.